My beloved child, come close to me now. Sit with me for a moment, as a father sits with the one he cherishes. For what I am about to tell you is not a story, not a lesson, not a casual word. This is a rescue. This is a pulling out, a divine intervention, a moment where heaven leans down and whispers your name. Beloved, there is a reason your heart felt pulled to open this. There is a reason your spirit felt heat, pressure, or even fear. Because someone, did not want you here. I speak not of flesh. I speak not of a woman with broomsticks or burning candles. No, I speak of a dark watcher, a spiritual thief, a witch spirit who has been circling your life, studying you, observing the cracks, waiting for the moment you look away so she can take what God placed on you. And hear me, child, she wants your beauty. Not only the beauty on your face, but the beauty in your soul, the glow of your destiny, the fragrance of your purpose, the brightness of your smile, the peace in your heart. Because beauty is more than how you look. Beauty is the evidence of God's hand on a person. And right now, this witch spirit is trembling. She is terrified that you opened this. She is terrified you are hearing these words. Because the moment you hear truth, her power begins to weaken. My beloved, there is a reason Archangel Michael himself stirred your spirit. There is a reason the message felt urgent, uncomfortable, heavy. Because the attack against you was not light. It was not casual. It was not accidental. She wanted to steal everything. Your blessings, your opportunities, your relationships, your radiance, your divine favor, your identity. And listen carefully. She wanted you to skip this message so her plan would remain hidden. Because darkness thrives in silence. She whispered distractions into your mind. She sent sudden tiredness. She created small frustrations. She made your phone lag. She made your mind wander. She tried everything to stop you from reaching this moment. But you made it. And the moment you opened this, beloved, a crack formed in her hiding place. A tremor shook the realm where she operates. And she panicked. Archangel Michael stands near you right now, not physically, but spiritually, drawing a line the darkness cannot cross. His voice is firm, commanding, protective. Beloved, do not fear. You are not reading this by accident. You are reading this because heaven is exposing what has been hidden from you. Child, listen to me. There is a reason your beauty has felt dimmed at times. There is a reason your confidence suddenly dropped. There is a reason you felt unseen, unappreciated, or strangely drained. There is a reason strange dreams tried to visit you. There is a reason you sensed envy from someone near you. It was not all in your imagination. It was not random. It was not coincidence. This is the hour of exposure. Tonight, today, this moment, whatever time you are hearing this, the veil is being lifted. The watcher is being confronted. The enemy is being cornered. And this is only the beginning. My beloved child, breathe slowly and come closer in your spirit, because as we enter, the atmosphere around you will begin to shift. What you are about to hear is not merely a teaching, but a revealing, a drawing back of the curtain over a battle that has been running silently in the background of your life. And today I will show you what was never meant to remain hidden. There is an invisible war, a quiet but violent conflict happening around your beauty. Yes, your beauty. Not only the beauty that others can see on your face, but the beauty of your soul, the beauty of your calling, the beauty of your spirit. The enemy has studied this light in you for a long time, and she fears it. She despises it, Because beauty is not just appearance. Beauty is glory. Beauty is God's fingerprint resting on you. Beauty is the radiance of your destiny shining ahead of you like a lamp, announcing where you are going before you even step there. And the witch spirit lurking in the background knows this, my child. She has known it for much longer than you have understood it yourself. There are people who walk through life unaware that their glow is not ordinary, unaware that their laughter carries healing, unaware that their presence softens hearts, unaware that when they enter a room, something shifts. And because you have walked with that unknowing innocence, you never imagined that someone in the unseen realm could be targeting you because of what you carry naturally. But heaven sees it. The enemy sees it. And now, beloved, you must see it too. The battle for your beauty is not about makeup, features, or outward charm. No. This is deeper. This is about your spiritual radiance, your ability to attract goodness, opportunities, favor, kindness, divine alignment. When the enemy wants to destroy someone's destiny at the root, she begins by attacking their glow. Because when a person loses their glow, they lose their confidence. When they lose their confidence, they lose their courage. When they lose their courage, they lose their choices. And once they begin choosing from fear instead of purpose, their destiny bends, detours, or collapses. This is how the enemy steals beauty, not by smudging a face, but by dimming a soul. But hear me, child, you were never meant to walk around dimmed. From the moment God formed you, He placed inside you a beauty that darkness cannot stand. Some of the strange things you've gone through, the sudden mood drops, the days where your face looked unusually tired though you slept well, the moments where you felt invisible, dull, or unlovable, were not random. Sometimes the enemy tries to cast a veil, a spiritual fog, over someone's radiance. And when that fog settles, a person may feel spiritually unwashed, unvalued, or unrecognizable even to themselves. But today is the day of understanding, and understanding breaks chains. The witch spirit hath been watching your light for a long time. He does not watch with curiosity. She watches with envy and hunger. She watches the way heaven favors you. She watches the way people are drawn to your energy. She watches the way your heart forgives faster than others can understand. She watches the way God's grace wraps around you even in seasons when you were not at your best. And because she cannot create glory, she tries to steal it. Everything stolen from you, your beauty, your confidence, your sparkle, your sense of worth, was not taken because you were weak, but because you were valuable. The attacks on your appearance, your identity, your emotional stability, your sense of self. These were spiritual battles, not personal failures. When the enemy sees someone rising, she tries to bruise their wings so they doubt they were ever meant to fly. But my beloved, you were not born to be dim. If only you could see how heaven sees you. If only you could see the glow that surrounds you when you walk, when you speak, when you simply exist. If only you could see the angels stationed around you, guarding the very radiance the enemy tries to hide. If only you could see how many attacks you survived without even knowing you were under attack. This is why Archangel Michael stirred you to open this message. This is why there was urgency. The enemy was reaching for your beauty, your radiance, your inner shine. And if you had scrolled past this moment, she would have gained ground. But you did not. You opened what she feared, and now her grip is loosening. Child, the invisible battle for your beauty is not finished yet, but revelation has already wounded the enemy. You are about to understand the identity of the one watching you from the shadows, waiting for moments of weakness to strike. My beloved child, come closer once more, for the air around us grows heavier as we step into a deeper truth for the faint of heart. This is where hidden things are dragged into the light, where shadows lose their power, and where the watcher who has lingered too close to your destiny begins to tremble. Listen carefully, for what I am about to reveal will not only expose her presence, but also explain certain moments in your life that never made sense until now. There is a witch who watches from the shadows, not a woman with potions or cauldrons, but a spiritual thief, a dark intelligence, a monitoring presence. She is not a stranger, she is familiar. She has studied your movements, examined your emotions, waited for your vulnerable days. She does not attack randomly. She attacks strategically. She watches closely enough to know when your heart feels heavy, when your spirit feels tired, when your confidence wavers even for a moment. And when she sees an opening, she slips in like smoke, subtle and quiet, influencing thoughts, stirring insecurity, sending discouragement that feels like it came out of nowhere. This watcher has been near you longer than you realize. Her gaze did not fall on you recently. It began the moment your life started shining in a way that threatened her territory. When your purpose dawned, she noticed. When your blessings began unfolding, she noticed. When God marked you with a glory you did not even know you carried, she noticed. And instead of turning away, she leaned closer. You have felt her sometimes without knowing it was her. The sudden heaviness right after a joyful moment. The strange sadness after a few days of peace. The draining presence you could not explain. The odd sense that someone resented your happiness even when you had done nothing wrong. The strange delay in things that should have come easily. These were not coincidences. They were fingerprints of a watcher in the dark. Child, listen. Witches in the spirit realm do not waste energy on those who carry nothing. They do not monitor the empty. They monitor the anointed. The moment God placed something rare inside you, the enemy sent a shadow to observe you. And this shadow learned your patterns. She learned what wounds you. She learned what scares you. She learned what doubts sit quietly in the corners of your heart. She learned your silent questions, your hidden insecurities, your fragile places, and she crafted her attacks around them. But here is the truth she hoped you would never discover. She is terrified of you. That is why she hides. That is why she watches from a distance. That is why she whispers instead of roaring. She fears what will happen if you become aware of her presence. She fears what will happen when you awaken to the fullness of your authority. She fears your clarity, because once you see her, you weaken her. Once you name her, you wound her. Once you expose her, you strip her of access. And beloved, that is what is happening right now. She wanted you to skip this message because exposure is her greatest fear. She thrives in blindness. She thrives in your ignorance. She thrives when you blame yourself for things she orchestrated. She thrives when you call yourself weak, when in truth it was her hand pulling at your spirit. She thrives when you think you are failing, when she was the one dimming your glow with invisible pressure. But the moment revelation comes, her grip shatters. And beloved, revelation has come. Archangel Michael does not appear without purpose. He does not stir the atmosphere without a mission. When he said, "Open this within 3 minutes," it was not to frighten you. It was to break the timing of an attack that was scheduled, an attack meant to steal something precious from you. Your beauty, your joy, your radiance, your plans, your next breakthrough. This witch saw what was coming your way. She saw the restoration God had planned. She saw the blessing that had begun moving toward you. She saw the shift in the spirit realm, the glow returning to your life, the divine favor preparing to rest on you. And she panicked, because if you reached this moment of awakening, she would lose her hold. My child, she is losing it right now. Her shadow is shrinking. Her axis is breaking. Your whispers are weakening. She can no longer hide in the corners of your emotions. She can no longer disguise herself as sadness or confusion. The light of truth is burning through every place she once occupied. But the story is not over. Exposure is only the beginning. Every hidden enemy must not only be revealed, they must be confronted, disarmed, and stripped of authority. My beloved child, take a deep breath, for as we enter, the atmosphere thickens with truth. What I am about to reveal is not meant to frighten you, but to free you. For no battle can be won until the enemy's assignment is understood. And today, you shall understand what hath been working against you in the unseen realm. You shall see the patterns, the signs, the subtle movements that were not coincidence, not misfortune, not weakness, but a deliberate assault crafted with precision. The witch spirit watching you did not merely observe, she planned. She crafted an assignment against your life that unfolded slowly, silently, almost imperceptibly, so that you would blame yourself rather than discern her influence. She targeted the areas she believed would break you the fastest. Not your strength, but your tenderness. Not your power, but your vulnerability. Not your confidence, but your moments of quiet self-reflection. She sought the places where your heart whispered instead of shouted. Her assignment was woven like a web, designed to trap you gradually. She began with delay. Delay in your desires. Delay in your breakthroughs. Delay in your dreams. Not because you were unworthy, but because delay creates doubt, and doubt weakens faith. She knew that if she could slow your blessings, you might question God. You might question your worth. You might even question the path you were walking. And every time you asked yourself, "What is wrong with me?" she smiled from the shadows, for that question feeds her strategy. But delay was only the first strand of her web. The next was discouragement. She whispered thoughts that sounded like your own voice. Thoughts that told you you were not enough, not beautiful, not chosen, not capable. Thoughts that pulled you down emotionally in moments when you should have been rising. Discouragement is a weapon designed to exhaust the soul, to make you sit down when heaven is calling you forward. And beloved, she used it against you because she feared the power you would step into if you kept walking. Then came distraction. She placed people in your path whose presence drained you. She stirred unnecessary conflicts, created emotional noise, sent sudden responsibilities, trivial worries, and small frustrations to clutter your spirit. Distraction is a subtle enemy. It does not roar, it hums. It keeps you busy enough to lose focus, tired enough to lose direction, overwhelmed enough to lose clarity. And when you lost sight of your own blow, she gained ground. But the darkest part of her assignment was deeper still. She sought to steal the treasures that God wrapped inside you. Your joy, your self-worth, your beauty, your brightness. She knew that if she could dim your inner light, the outer world would respond differently to you. Opportunities would shrink. Relationships would shift. Favor would appear delayed. Not because God removed it, but because your radiance was being veiled by a spiritual heaviness she placed upon you. And all of this she did slowly, because sudden attacks alarm people. But gradual attacks go unnoticed. Yet even as she wove her schemes, something she did not foresee began stirring. Heaven watched her movements. Heaven saw her designs. Heaven measured her steps carefully. And when she reached too close to your identity, when her hand approached the beauty God clothed you in, when she reached for the radiance she had no right to touch. That is when the atmosphere of heaven shifted. That is when Archangel Michael was dispatched. Not because you were failing, but because the attack crossed a boundary. There are lines the enemy is never permitted to cross, and your identity is one of them. Your destiny, your beauty, your divine glow, these are marked by God. And the moment the enemy touched them, the heavens responded. That urgency you felt, that strange pull to open this message, that sudden pressure in your spirit, those were not coincidences. Those were signals. Angels alerting you. Michael calling you. Heaven intervening so the enemy's assignment would collapse before it completed its cycle. Beloved child, the witch spirit's assignment is now unraveling because you have seen it. You have named it. And revelation destroys her foundation. But what happens next is even greater. For in the next, we will step into the moment where her identity is exposed, where the one hiding in the shadows can no longer hide. Her mask will fall, her influence will crumble, and her grip will break. My beloved child, settle your heart as we enter, for this is the moment the shadows tremble. This is the moment the spiritual fog begins to clear. This is the moment where the one who hid behind your confusion, your insecurities, your delays, and your silent battles can no longer remain hidden. For exposure is judgment, and judgment is the beginning of your freedom. There comes an hour in every spiritual battle when heaven says, enough. There comes a moment when the light grows so bright that darkness loses its places to hide. And child, you have stepped into that hour. The witch spirit who watched you, followed you, observed you, whispered against you, she stands exposed before heaven right now. Her identity, her patterns, her movements, her intentions, all revealed under the gaze of divine fire. But listen carefully, for the nature of her exposure may surprise you. Darkness rarely comes wearing horns. It often wears the face of familiarity. This spirit often hides behind people, emotions, memories, or wounds. She can disguise herself as insecurity, as exhaustion, as emotional heaviness, as sudden sadness, as unexplained fear, as jealousy from someone near you, or even as your own inner voice. That is why so many fail to see her, because she rarely attacks directly. She attacks through shadows, through influence, through pressure that feels internal when it is not. And so the identity being exposed now is not a physical person. No, child. It is the spiritual force behind the patterns that have followed you for years. It is the dark influence that fed your self-doubt when you were beginning to shine. It is the whisper that told you you were not enough when heaven had already chosen you. It is the presence that drained your joy, dimmed your glow, clouded your thoughts, and made you question your worth. This is the witch whose identity heaven unveils now. She is the spirit behind the sudden loss of confidence you could not explain. She is the presence in the room when your peace suddenly vanished without cause. She is the shadow behind the heaviness that clung to you after moments of happiness. She is the weight behind unexplained tiredness when you were walking into a blessing. She is the one who feared your beauty, your radiance, your spiritual authority, your divine favor. And now she is exposed. In the realm of the spirit, she trembles because exposure is defeat. For as long as she was hidden, she could influence quietly. She could attach lies to your thoughts. She could manipulate your emotions. She could distort the way you saw yourself. But the moment you recognize her, she loses the ability to disguise herself. She loses access to your vulnerabilities. She loses the grip you once held. Beloved, I want you to notice something happening even now. As the truth unfolds, your spirit feels lighter. There is a quiet strength rising in you, a warmth in your chest, a clarity in your mind. That is because your spirit recognizes liberation. The moment a hidden enemy is exposed, the soul begins to breathe again. And as she is exposed, as she grows desperate, her influence weakens. The veil she placed over your beauty is lifting. The dimness she tried to cast over your confidence is clearing. The heaviness she wrapped around your joy is breaking. She cannot hide behind your emotions anymore. She cannot hide inside your confusion. The light of heaven shines directly on her, and she has nowhere left to run. My beloved child, this is why heaven pushed you so urgently. This is why Michael stirred your spirit. You were not opening a message. You were stepping into a spiritual courtroom, and today the verdict is exposure. Her identity has been revealed. Your mission has been interrupted. Your presence has been cornered. But exposure is not the final act. There is a confrontation coming, a divine moment where heaven steps forward to deal with what has dared to touch you. And in that confrontation, you will witness the beginning of her downfall. You will watch heaven defend you in ways you never knew were happening behind the scenes. Beloved, before we go deeper, let your heart do this one holy work. Help others reach this light. When a message breaks chains, it becomes a divine responsibility to carry it further. Share this word, lift it up, and let it travel like a sword into the lives of those still battling in silence. Not as a command, but as an act of love, as an act of light, as an act of freedom. My beloved child, come closer, for the air around this moment grows fierce and holy. This is the hour of confrontation. This is the moment where heaven steps forward, the veil tears, and the spiritual courtroom becomes a battlefield. Listen with the ears of your spirit, for what is unfolding now has been set in motion long before you open this message. You are not merely hearing a story, you are witnessing a war that has been fought for you. When a hidden enemy is exposed, heaven does not remain silent. Revelation is an invitation for intervention. And the very moment the witch spirit's identity came into the light, Archangel Michael drew his sword. Not a sword of metal, but a sword of divine authority, a blade forged in the fire of God's justice. It gleams with truth. It strikes with purity. It carries the weight of God's verdict, that no weapon formed against you shall prosper. Child, you must understand something crucial. Spiritual battles are not waged with noise, chaos, or fear. They are waged with authority. They are waged with truth. They are waged with light so bright that darkness crumbles without a sound. And as this confrontation begins, heaven does not rush. Heaven stands tall, unshaken, unmoved, because the enemy that terrified you for years is nothing before the army that surrounds you now. Imagine this moment in the spirit. The witch spirit standing exposed, trembling under a light she cannot endure. Her once silent confidence is shattered. The shadows she used as shelter have been burned away. She has nowhere left to run, no disguise left to hide behind, no lies left to whisper. Her power dissolves under the weight of truth, for she knows heaven has come for her. And in front of her stands Michael. His presence is not gentle. It is not soft. It is fierce, roaring, uncontainable. When he moves, the atmosphere shakes. When he speaks, the enemy collapses. When he raises his sword, no darkness can resist. He looks upon the one who tried to steal your beauty, your radiance, your destiny, and there is no mercy in his eyes for the one who touched a child of God. Beloved, you must know this. You were not fighting alone. Every tear you cried, heaven saw. Every time you felt small, heaven stood tall for you. Every moment you wondered why you felt attacked, heaven was preparing this confrontation. And though you felt the pain, you never saw the war waged on your behalf. The angels positioned around you, the divine hands pushing back the darkness even when you did not know danger was near. Now Michael steps forward, and the witch spirit tries to speak, but her voice cracks. Her confidence collapses. She attempts to justify her presence, but lies cannot stand in the presence of truth. She attempts to plead, but heaven does not negotiate with thieves. She attempts to flee, but light locks her in place. For the first time, she sees herself through heaven's eyes, small, defeated, powerless before the authority of God. And in the midst of this confrontation, beloved child, something begins to shift inside you. A weight lifts. A fog clears. A heaviness you carried for far too long begins to melt. This is not imagination. This is deliverance. When heaven fights for you, the effects are felt in your spirit, your mind, your emotions, your very body. You are witnessing a spiritual trial, but you are also feeling the evidence of victory. Michael raises his sword. The air grows still. The witch spirit trembles violently, for she knows what comes next. This is not a moment of destruction. This is a moment of justice. The confrontation is not about punishing her. It is about freeing you. It is about cutting every spiritual tie she used to access your confidence. It is about breaking every doorway she used to dim your glow. It is about closing every crack she exploited to whisper lies into your mind. My beloved, hear this with your soul. Her assignment ends now. You will no longer be monitored. You will no longer be spiritually drained. You will no longer be silently attacked in your emotions. You will no longer carry heaviness that is not yours. You will no longer feel small in seasons where you should feel radiant. This is the moment heaven stands for you in full power. But there is one more step, one more scene in this divine unfolding. After the confrontation comes the collapse. After the collapse comes the begging. After the begging comes the breaking of her power completely. My beloved child, steady your heart as we walk, for this is the moment where the enemy who stalked you, watched you, whispered against you, and plotted in darkness finally breaks. This is not a gentle moment. This is not a quiet moment. This is the moment where every ounce of her stolen arrogance collapses under the weight of divine authority. Heaven is not negotiating. Heaven is not debating. Heaven is executing justice. Picture this in the spirit, child. The battlefield is silent, yet the silence is louder than thunder. Michael stands before her, his sword lifted, the light of God radiating like fire around him. The witch spirit, once confident in her shadows, now trembles violently. The darkness she wrapped herself in has been torn away, leaving her exposed, naked in her wickedness, powerless in her schemes, stripped of the boldness she once flaunted in the unseen realm. And then it happens. The moment every hidden enemy fears. Her knees give out. The one who stood tall while you cried quietly in your room, the one who smirked while you doubted your beauty, the one who enjoyed watching your confidence fade, the one who celebrated when you questioned your worth, the one who pushed heaviness onto your chest late at night, the one who whispered lies into your thoughts, now collapses before the presence of the one God sent to defend you. She tries to speak, but her words come out shattered. Virchokter. He is not crying because he is sorry. He is crying because he is ifbun. She is crying because the power she once held over you has dissolved like dust. She is crying because everything she built against you, every scheme, every shadow, every strategy, every whisper, it all means nothing now. You must understand this, my beloved. When an enemy falls to their knees in the spirit, it means their authority is gone. When the one who once oppressed you begins to beg, it means their reign has ended. When darkness bows, light has won. And in this moment, she begins to beg. Not to you. She has no access to you anymore. She begs the angels. She begs the light. She begs the realm that now judges her. Her voice is not steady. It breaks. It echoes with fear, panic, desperation. She pleads for mercy because she knows she has no more weapons. She knows she cannot touch you anymore. She knows she cannot dim you anymore. She knows she cannot follow you anymore. Her fate is sealed. Her access is denied. Her influence is broken. And as she begs, something miraculous happens in the spirit around you. Chains break. Veils lift. Weights fall. Your glow begins to return. Your breath grows easier. Your chest feels lighter. Your mind becomes clear. Your spirit rises with strength you forgot you had. This is not imagination. This is deliverance unfolding inside you in real time. You are feeling the results of a war fought in your honor. The witch spirit is not just defeated, she is humiliated. She is forced into the dust. And heaven is letting you witness her collapse because for far too long, she witnessed yours. My child, do you feel that stirring inside you? That warmth, that clarity, that quiet inner rising? That is your beauty returning. That is your light returning. That is your spiritual royalty standing up straight again. What she tried to steal is now coming back to you. Michael does not move as she begs. Angels do not weep for the wicked. There is no sympathy for the one who tried to dim a chosen one's glow. Instead, the atmosphere thickens with a justice so pure that even the air feels alive. And then Michael speaks, not softly, but with a voice that shakes every corner of the unseen realm. His words echo like lightning, and though you may not hear them with your ears, your spirit understands them perfectly. Her hold is broken. Her authority is stripped. Her access is denied. She will not touch you again. Child, these words are a decree. They are final. They are sealed. And now that the witch spirit has fallen, the next step is restoration. Your restoration. What was stolen will be returned. What was dimmed will blaze again. What was lost will rise with greater glory the moment heaven begins to heal, restore, and beautify everything she tried to distort. My beloved child, come close, for a moment of war, but a moment of healing. The battlefield behind you has grown silent. The trembling of the enemy has faded. The cries of the witch spirit have dissolved into nothingness. Now the air shifts. Now the atmosphere softens. Now heaven bends low, not to fight, but to restore. For God does not rescue without rebuilding. He does not deliver without beautifying. He does not free you from darkness only to leave you empty. Restoration is the divine signature on every battle He wins for you. Beloved, listen with the deepest place of your spirit, for this is the moment your beauty returns, not just the beauty of your face, but the beauty of your soul, your aura, your confidence, your destiny. Every part of you that was dimmed, drained, or weighed down is now being touched by heaven's hand. The same angels who fought for you now begin to minister to you. They move not with swords but with oil, not with fire but with healing, not with judgment but with restoration. You may feel it already, even as I speak. A warmth rising gently in your chest, a calm settling over your heart, a clarity beginning to fill your mind, a sense of peace returning to places that have been stormy for far too long. This is not your imagination. This is not wishful thinking. This is the taste of restoration, the quiet but undeniable evidence that heaven has begun to rebuild what darkness tried to steal. The witch spirit tried to steal your beauty, not your outer looks alone, but your inner radiance, the glow in your eyes, the peace in your spirit, the fire in your voice, the softness of your presence. She wanted to turn your glow into gloom, your confidence into confusion, your joy into heaviness. And for a season, she succeeded in parts of it. But now, heaven pours fresh oil over you, and everything she dimmed begins to shine again. Feel this, child. Your beauty is returning. The heaviness she placed on your face is lifting. The dullness that crept into your expressions is breaking off. The tiredness that clung to you for no reason is dissolving. The sparkle in your eyes is waking up. Your aura, your presence, your glow, everything that makes you uniquely radiant, is being restored to you with double portion strength. What she tried to steal, God gives back multiplied. And it goes deeper still. Your confidence, the confidence she tried to erode through whispers of unworthiness, is rising. Your voice, the voice she tried to silence through discouragement, is strengthening. Your courage, the courage she tried to drain through constant emotional pressure, is returning like a lion. You are stepping into a version of yourself that is brighter, bolder, and more beautiful than anything you have ever known. Beloved child, restoration is not only about giving back what was stolen, it is about giving better than what was stolen. Heaven does not return things in the same condition. Heaven upgrades. Heaven increases. Heaven multiplies. The beauty coming upon you will not look like the beauty you once had. It will surpass it. Your glow will be stronger, your peace deeper, your presence more magnetic, your strength more visible, your joy more contagious. And this restoration touches your path as well. Doors that were stuck will begin to move. Opportunities that were delayed will begin to quicken. Relationships that belong in your life will begin to align. Your life will not remain in the shadowed place you were dragged into. You are stepping into a brighter, clearer, more open season. Heaven is bringing light to every space where darkness once hid. You may feel a shift inside even now, a quiet rising, like something awakening from deep sleep. That is your spirit standing again. That is the real you emerging from beneath the weight you carried. That is the version of you heaven always saw, now stepping into the open. Child, your beauty is being restored. Your identity is being restored. Your glow is being restored. And your destiny is being restored. You are returning to yourself, the self God designed, the self the enemy feared. And this restoration is not temporary. It is sealed. It is protected. It is guarded. But restoration is not the final step. There is something heaven needs you to understand, your role in this spiritual war. Restoration brings strength, but wisdom secures victory. You must know how to walk forward, how to protect what has been restored, how to keep your glow untouched. My beloved child, lean in gently as we enter, for this is the moment where the story shifts from what heaven has done for you to what heaven now asks you to do. Restoration has begun. The enemy has fallen. The witch spirit has been exposed, confronted, and stripped of her power. But every victory carries a divine responsibility, a holy calling. And now, it is time for you to understand your role in this spiritual war. You see, beloved, God never intended for you to live unaware of your authority. You were never meant to drift through life unprotected, confused, or vulnerable. You were created with power, crowned with glory, sealed with purpose. But the enemy attacked you because she hoped you would never realize how strong you truly are. She hoped that if she could make you feel small, you would forget that heaven calls you mighty. She hoped that if she dimmed your inner glow, you would forget that God placed fire in your spirit. She hoped that if she clouded your identity, you would forget that you were born of divine intention. But now the fog has lifted. Now the truth stands tall. Now you must rise into the fullness of who you are. Beloved child, hear me. Your role in this spiritual war is not to live in fear, but to live with awareness. The enemy thrives in ignorance, but she trembles before knowledge. You must walk forward knowing that you are watched by heaven, supported by angels, guided by divine wisdom. You must understand that spiritual battles are not fought with panic, but with consistency. Darkness does not fear noise, it fears light, and you are a carrier of that light. The first role you carry is this: protect your glow. Your spiritual radiance is precious. It is not meant for every environment, every person, or every conversation. There are people who thrive in your light, but do not contribute to it. There are environments that drain you, not because you are weak, but because your spirit shines too brightly for the shadows in them. Choose your atmosphere wisely. Be intentional about where you place your energy. Your glow is a gift. Do not cast it into places that do not honor it. Your second role is to guard your peace. Peace is more than a feeling, it is armor. When your peace is intact, the enemy cannot access your mind. She cannot whisper lies. She cannot plant doubt. She cannot twist your emotions. Peace is a shield that keeps your spirit steady when life moves unpredictably. Protect it fiercely. Protect it with boundaries. Protect it with truth. Protect it with prayer. Protect it by removing yourself from anything that consistently disturbs your soul. Your third role is to walk with confidence. Not arrogance, but holy confidence. The kind of confidence that says, I know who I am in God. The kind of confidence that silence cannot shrink, that rejection cannot break, that insecurity cannot erode. When you walk confidently, you declare to the spirit realm that you refuse to be dimmed again. You declare that you know your worth. You declare that you understand your identity. And confidence is one of the greatest weapons against darkness. Your fourth role is to stay connected to the light. Read what feeds you. Listen to what strengthens you. Surround yourself with words that guard your spirit. When you stay connected to the divine, your glow never dims. When you stay connected to truth, lies cannot cling to you. When you stay connected to God, the enemy can observe you, but she cannot reach you. And beloved, your fifth role is to remain grateful. Gratitude is a spiritual fragrance. It shifts atmospheres. It lifts you above the storm. It attracts blessing. It protects your heart from bitterness. A grateful heart is a shining heart, and a shining heart is untouchable to darkness. Gratitude keeps you aligned with heaven. But above all, child, your role is to believe. Believe that the fight was real. Believe that heaven intervened. Believe that the enemy's power is broken. Believe that your beauty, your glow, your identity, your destiny have been restored. Believe that you are protected. Believe that you are chosen. Believe that you are surrounded by divine presence at all times. When you believe, you walk differently. You speak differently. You think differently. And the enemy, who once followed you like a shadow, now flees at the sound of your footsteps. The war around you has shifted because you have awakened. And now, as we prepare to enter, the heaven seals everything that hath been done. But before we step into the final seal of protection, the divine conclusion, the last whisper of heaven over your life, I ask you gently, help this message reach those who need it. Help others awaken. Help others be restored. Your sharing, your love, your support are not acts of promotion. They are acts of spiritual mercy. When you spread the light, you push back the darkness in someone else's world. It becomes a holy deed, a divine duty fulfilled. My beloved child, come close one last time, for we have reached the final seal of protection. This is not a long moment, but it is a holy one. Every battle that has been fought, every revelation that has unfolded, every chain that has broken has led us to this closing breath of heaven. And now, heaven leans over your life with gentleness, ready to seal everything that has been restored to you. You stand now in a place of victory. The witch spirit who once stalked your beauty has been exposed and defeated. The heaviness she placed on your soul has lifted. The dimness she cast over your glow has dissolved. The lies she whispered have been silenced. The realm that once pressed against you in the dark now bows before the light you carry. And as heaven seals this work, the glory returning to you will not fade. The protection placed over you will not weaken. The restoration within you will not be undone. My beloved child, receive this seal now. May the peace of God rest upon your mind so strongly that no shadow can enter again. May the fire of heaven surround your beauty so fiercely that no darkness can dim it. May the angels walk beside you, guarding your steps, covering your spirit, watching your path day and night. May the glow within you rise brighter each day, untouched and unshaken by anything that once tried to steal it. May your destiny move forward without delay, without interference, without spiritual opposition. May every blessing assigned to you arrive in fullness, wrapped in divine timing and protected by heavenly hands. You are covered. You are shielded. You are protected. You are sealed. And now, beloved child, as this message closes, remember this truth. Light must travel. Someone else is fighting a silent battle similar to yours. Someone else is crying in darkness, unaware of the war happening around them. Someone else is dimming without knowing why. When you help this message move forward, when you lift it, when you share it, when you let it be seen, you become a vessel of deliverance. It is not a task, it is a ministry. It is not a book, it is a calling. Heaven honors those who spread light, for they become partners in the rescue of souls. And now, with heaven's full authority, I release the final word over you. You are sealed in light. You are wrapped in protection. You are marked by glory. You are safe. You are yours again. And the enemy who touched you will not rise against you a second time. Amen.